Welcome to the Craft Tessa, everyone. If you are new, my name is Vanessa. On today's DIY video, we're going to take a Dollar Tree plastic egg container and turn it into this Victorian egg masterpiece. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, where I post super quick and easy DIYs, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I post new videos every week. Now, let's get crafting. So we're going to take this egg from the Dollar Tree. It's one of the larger ones, the ones that are probably used as a basket of sorts. So we're going to turn this plastic egg into something that's going to look like it came out of the Victorian era. So let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint this egg, and I'm using the Americana decor in a satin white. Actually, it's going to look a little matte after it's dry. So we're going to give this egg about 3 to 4 coats because it's plastic. So I'm using one of the little Dollar Tree sponge brushes, and I'm just going to pat the paint on the plastic. This way it'll coat it better, and it'll give it some sort of texture, something along the lines of something that's old or that's been around for quite some time, because that is the look that I'm trying to achieve. So let's continue painting. So now that the egg is dry, I'm going to take this printout that I got online. You can search for vintage images that are free. I found this one, which I really like the way it looks, and I'm going to cut it to size in order to be able to fit it on the front of the egg. I'm not taking any measurements. I'm just going to eyeball it and just keep cutting until I get a good fit. So let's continue. So now I cut the image to a size that I think is going to work for the front of the egg. And I'm going to use some Mod Podge in order to decoupage it to the front of the egg. And I do slits all around the picture in order to avoid any type of wrinkling or any bubbling. This way the picture will take the shape of the egg. So I just cut all around it. And it doesn't matter if you cut, because once you use the Mod Podge, it will basically seal the image again, so you really won't see the cuts. And I'm actually trying to get a cracked egg look, so let's see if I can accomplish that by the time that we're done. So let's continue to decoupage the image on the egg. So I'm letting the Mod Podge on the image dry, and I'm going to take some air dry clay and this mold that I got at Michael's. I've searched to give you a link as to where you can get this mold online, but it's only available at Michael's. So if you like the mold and you want to get it, you're actually going to have to go to Michael's. So I'm going to take some of the air dry clay, and I'm going to do the castings. I'm going to do several in order to make a frame all around the picture. Now, working with air dry clay is actually pretty simple. The air dry clay is very malleable, so it'll take the shape of the mold pretty quickly, and it will dry pretty fast actually. So let's start to make the castings. So I made one casting already, and I'm going to pop it out of the mold to see what it looks like. I'm going to have to do this several times because I don't have a circular frame mold. So I'm going to have to make several of these pieces in order to create a frame for the picture on the egg. And I'm trying to be very careful in order not to let these fall apart on me. I think this one might be cracking already. So let's try and be gentle. And I'm going to let it dry for a bit before I hot glue it onto the egg. Now, when I'm trying to let it dry, I'm going to try and place it on the egg so it can get sort of that shape for when I hot glue it, there won't be any gaps with the casting. So let's continue to make the rest. So I've made a few castings and I think I'm going to need more, but the ones that I've made, I let them dry for a bit, and now I'm going to try and figure out in what pattern I'm going to make the frame around the picture. And I also want to hot glue the castings before they fully dry and they're hard, because if we let them dry completely before I hot glue them on, there's going to be gaps. They're not going to have the shape of the egg. So I'm going to play around and figure out how I'm going to make the frame, and then I'm going to use just regular hot glue to hot glue them onto the egg. So let's do that. So I finished the frame last night and I let the clay dry overnight in order for it to harden up and be completely dry before I continue to paint the egg. So now I'm going to take some pink gloss acrylic paint and some white gloss acrylic paint, and I'm going to mix them together in order to give the egg some sort of a light blush pink color. So let's do that now. So I have the white paint and I have the pink paint. I'm taking one of the Dollar Tree foam brushes and I'm just going to pat the color all over the egg. And I'm basically guessing this. I have not planned this out, so it's going to be trial and error. But I do know that I want it to look somewhat of a blush pink color. So let's continue to paint it, and I hope that I achieve that look. Let's continue. So I'm actually happy with the way the paint turned out. And now I'm going to take some pearl ribbon, I guess if that's what you call it, or pearl strands. And I'm going to try and do a border around the egg in this pearl trim. So let's begin with that. And all I'm going to do is that I'm going to hot glue it, and I'm going to try and make 2 layers of the pearl decoration around the egg. So now that I've finished with the pearl trim, I'm going to take the metallic wax in a gold brass color, and I'm going to paint the frame. That's obviously that we made out of clay. I want to give it an antique gold look, and I love how this wax goes on. Just a little bit goes a long way. I'm going to take a soft brush, and I'm going to paint the frame. So let's do that now. So now that the frame is painted, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and my Glamour Dust Fine Glitter. It's an iridescent glitter, and I've used it in some other projects, and I think you can see my videos. I've used them in a lot of my Easter egg DIYs that I've done this season. I love the way that it looks once, obviously, it has completely dried, and I do want my egg here to have a little pop or a little shimmer. Not too much, because I do still want to keep that old antique look, but I do feel like this needs a little something extra. So let's do that. Now the egg is done. I absolutely love the way that it looks. It has the right amount of shimmer that I wanted. And now I'm going to make the base. And I forgot to videotape that part, but I will explain to you what I did. So let's move on to that. So for the base of the egg, I had like a little plastic stand, and all I did was I painted it white and then I added the glitter to it. But if you don't have anything like this, you can use one of the Dollar Tree candlestick holders, the glass ones. I used that for another DIY egg project that I did this season, and it looked fantastic. But I just happened to have this plastic piece, and I loved the way that it looked, therefore I used it. And I also covered the base with some more pearl strands to cover any gaps in between the stand and the egg. And that's all there is to it. I absolutely love the way that it turned out, and it's ready to be displayed. So I really love the way that this turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all on my next DIY.